This is Hey Beautiful, the podcast where we binge and recap every episode of How I Met Your Mother. No spoilers. So suit up, grab a sandwich, and settle in. Hey, Kate.
Hey, Caitlin. We're here.
I can't even.
We're on camera for season 6.
Crazy girl.
Crazy.
Should we do more like TikTok sounds to amuse ourselves?
We definitely need a TikTok account. No, I'm just kidding. We definitely don't. I cannot run or participate in another social media account.
You would break your back from carrying the weight of all of that. So
With peace and love. Yeah,
I know.
It's all good. It's all good. But welcome, everybody. It's season 6, and we're doing all of our episodes from now on YouTube, as well as wherever you listen to podcasts. So you guys get to see us every other week with a fresh recap of a very old show that we all love so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is just wild. Okay.
Don't be nervous. We've been doing these for Patreon for a couple months now, right?
Yeah. Since January.
Yeah, the last few episodes of How I Met Your Mother season 5, as well as all of the How I Met Your Father. So it's not different, but it is.
It feels different. Well, because you added the sound. So that was
That's true. Yeah, I did pipe in our theme song, which is cool. Which I will be doing again. Heads up. I will be doing it again for when we do our little ad read in a minute.
But I will say to the people watching or listening, if you've been with us since season 1, you know we'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah. Like, right? We'll get there. We'll get there. Just, you've been through a lot worse.
Yeah, so just bear with us, please.
Yeah, as we figure this out.
But yeah, so happy season 6. Here we are. You can see our beautiful faces. I chose not to shower and get into my jammies. So I was like, I should probably look a little bit alive for the first one at the very least, but
it's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Next time, if you want to be rocking the sweats or whatever, however you're comfortable, we're always recording immediately after dinner.
Yeah, what'd you have?
Oh, I had a Greek salad. What did you have?
Burgers.
Ooh.
But it was a HelloFresh burger, which is fine. It's great because it's usually different sauce or whatever. But this one was a little sad because Jack isn't around to help us cook. He's isolating in his room. And so it was one with fried pickles and fancy things. And we just said, it's just normal burger night, nothing fancy.
Yeah,
but it's still good.
Bummer. Good. Liz has gotten really good at smash burgers because we got
the burger press?
we got a griddle, a propane griddle that we have in the garage, which we use with the door open.
Of course.
So she doesn't die. But she's gotten really, really good at that really thin, crispy burger. So
we got plates for our grill. We took the grill on our propane grill. We took the grates off of it and we just have the cast iron top. And then Jack has a burger press. They're so good. And then sometimes we'll do grilled potatoes, which is really just kind of home fries almost, but outside. So it feels different.
Dude, home fries are good any time of day. So that's
Agreed.
But anyway, let's get into the reason
Speaking of good
here.
any kind of day.
Hey, Neil Patrick Harris. Yeah,
I love him.
I just saw the trailer for his new show, which is called Uncoupled, and it's coming to Netflix in July. Looks like it's a breakup show about his show and Josh Radnor's show are both about these middle-aged men who are getting divorced or uncoupled, but I don't think Josh is the lead on his show because he just got added to it. It was just announced. So
interesting.
But yeah, and we also don't know because, all right, so we have Neil Patrick Harris's show coming out on Netflix in July, and then Josh Radnor's show, Fleischman is in Trouble, is coming out some point in 2022 on Hulu. Not sure when that'll be, but we will definitely be watching both of those.
We'll give a little, probably Patreon only recap.
Hell yeah, that sounds good.
Also sounds good. Look at all these good things, all these really smooth, subtle segues. Carter Bay's new book, The Mutual Friend, it comes out in early June. You can pre-order it now.
Yeah.
And Kate, you and I have kind of talked a little bit behind the scenes about doing like maybe a little giveaway.
Yeah, I
Like
think that'd
this
be a
little
great
book club
idea.
this summer. Yeah. So we can like
Oh
read
yeah,
it and right?
that'd be awesome. And that's only in like 3-4 weeks, right? Early
Oh
June.
yeah.
It's so soon, Caitlin.
School's so crazy.
It's so
Oh,
soon.
it's
Don't
so bad.
worry.
I like want it to be early June, but I also am like terrified of early June. I know I'm just gonna black out for the next 3 weeks.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. So I can't wait to read the book. I need like a good summer book. And I
Yeah.
mean, he's a great writer. So I
He's a
really can't
great
wait.
writer. And I
Can't freaking
love
wait.
what like the reviews and stuff that like Carter has posted on like his social media accounts. All like it sounds delightful.
Awesome. Cool.
So
Yeah, we'll
yeah.
definitely do a giveaway once it's out and about.
Mhm.
And yeah, it'll be fun for all of us to read it this summer and chat about it. That'd be great.
Yeah. Also this summer we've kind of tossed around the idea of doing a summer meetup. And Kate, I remember
Yeah.
you had thrown a poll out there to the fans to see what area of the country
I
would
know.
make
I
sense.
know.
So wild, so
I know.
wild.
Yeah, it looks like Northeast is good,
Mhm.
Midwest would be good as well.
Yeah.
I was really hoping for more in California cuz
Me
I want to
too.
go to Palm
Me too.
Springs.
Same,
So maybe we'll just do
same.
that anyway.
I
I
have a
don't
lot
know.
here for that,
Right?
honestly. I
Um
mean, it's our
so
show, right?
yeah, we'll see what we've got on our plates this summer. It would be awesome to do one and to see people if that's of interest. It's always just
Mhm.
nerve-wracking for me. Not meeting people, I'm fine with that. But like
Me too.
playing, no big deal.
Oh,
But like I always worry that we'll plan something and people won't show up. Not in a way of like nobody likes us, but just like stuff comes up and the whole thing kind of just falls apart.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's my worry because unless we're doing Northeast, we're going to be flying somewhere. So we got to know that people really want to
Yeah,
do
it's
it.
intense.
So yeah, I want
Whereas,
to
like,
make
Northeast
sure.
is, like, not as big a deal for us because 'cause
Right.
we're here.
And like if we knew there were going to be a bunch of people, we could do like a live show to some degree, but I think that's maybe I'm underselling our popularity, but I just feel like that might not be our level at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like is that, like, a thing? People going to, like, live recordings of podcasts? Because 'Cause I've only
Yeah.
Dax Shepard went to one of those, and it was, like, in a theater, like, huge,
Yeah.
so it's, like, hard to, like, picture a venue for us. I mean, I would love to think we could fill.
I think we could fill like a coffee shop, which would be fine.
Yeah.
Like that would be
Okay.
really cool.
I mean,
So
if
we'll think about it.
we could just have, like, 2 other people there that weren't us.
Just be like, thoughts? Just give the
Yeah, what do you
microphone
think?
over. Yeah, that'd be fine.
Tiny
So yeah,
microphone.
stay tuned for that. We're gonna keep talking about it and noodling and trying to figure out how many people we're thinking would be there. And if we can't do a live recording, like just to hang out is fine. I've been dying to play the HIMYM Cards Against Humanity, and I have no one to play with.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
have it just like in a box, unopened for years now. So I mean, we could do that even.
That sounds
I
like
mean,
fun,
just
honestly.
something fun to do with you guys. So stay
Yeah.
tuned for more on that. We will update you guys when we have an update, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
tell you when there's a meet we'll tell you about a meetup when there's a meetup to tell you about.
that's right. Have a baby with your butt.
I can't think under these conditions. Ah!
Oh god, this episode's so funny. Okay, the next bit is sad. Um so we just want to give a final thank you, a huge heartwarming debt of gratitude to Rachel's Cookies and Treats. They are huge fans of the show, fans of the podcast, and they have been our sponsor for 2 seasons now. Has it been 2 or was it just all of this last year?
No, I think it's 2 seasons.
You guys would know better than us. I
More?
lose track, but
Same time doesn't exist. I can't
time is not real.
especially when we're talking about the seasons of the show.
Yeah, I know. It's too much. So anyway, they are no longer the sponsors. It's not a reflection on the show or our relationship with them. It's just they're moving on to other things.
Yeah.
We love them still so much. We thank you all for supporting them in their endeavors. So if you still love Rachel's Cookies and Treats, keep ordering.
We do. Yeah.
We for sure still will. So there will be no more Rachel's Cookies and Treats ads going forward as far as we know.
And this has nothing to do with you, Vanessa.
Yeah, Vanessa. If for some reason Vanessa is still listening.
You're still listening. This is not about you. Okay?
This is not about you, but we just made it about you. So that's fine. That's totally fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, and we have 2 new patrons to our little Patreon club, Marina and Kolpesh. So thank you both for joining.
Thank you.
We're up to over 70 now, which is really incredible. And I never thought that would happen. So maybe we'll hit 100 this year. Maybe that's a goal.
That's nuts.
I mean, it's pretty cheap. You'll hear more about it later. Don't worry. Caitlin, do we have any new reviews? I feel like we have one, but I don't.
New reviews. Hey, we have 149. That's pretty exciting.
That's really good. Shout out to us.
When was the last time? April 12th? There's an April 12th.
I don't know if we... Yeah, read that one. It's fine. Read that one. If we got to read it again, that's okay.
Did we read one from Nina too? April 1st? I think we did because we said it was maybe... I feel like I made a joke about it not being in April.
Yeah. I think we did that one. I think it's the one after that.
This is from the Ronarchy.
Mm-hmm. I think that's Ronnie, who's one of our newer patrons. So shout out.
Thanks, Ronnie. Okay, hold on. Now I'm getting nervous because it gets cut off.
Don't panic. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, it stops, and I'm pretty sure it keeps going. And
I think it is.
What I need to do to look at it.
Everyone, hold on to your butts.
But then I can't.
I'm going to go to podcasts and open it. So maybe that's
probably a better thing for me to have tried.
Okay, the Ronarchy. Oh, it's short. It says, P.S. I love this podcast. Future callback. What does this podcast do, you ask? Please. If there were a front porch test for podcasts, this one would pass in my book. Thank you, Ronnie. 5 stars from Ronnie. Thank you so much to the Ronarchy. I'm assuming it's Ronnie. They've been very active lately, so I'm assuming that's from them. So thank you so much, Ronnie.
Thank you, Ronnie. We appreciate that. But I'm also mad. Why? What
happened?
Because I thought it said mine has more.
Yours has more to it? That was all that was in that one.
Pass my book. It says, I'm a huge HIMYM fan, but somehow lack other people in my friend group that enjoy it like me. This podcast fills that void. Kate and Caitlin are awesome, and their love of the show is apparent in every episode of Hey Beautiful. They're a little hard on themselves for the first dozen or so episodes, which just drove them to make a higher quality podcast.
That's right.
We didn't even read that when I was saying something about that. But okay, then it says, is Hey Beautiful a duck? Is it better than a turkey key RK? And then it gets cut off.
Oh, why the heck didn't mine show the whole thing?
I don't know.
Let's see. I don't know what the problem is, but let me try on my phone. We're going to try one final way. Because this is clearly an epic review, and I really want
Ronnie
to see what it says.
Like, it's a good one. Like, a lot joke after joke after joke.
Just hit after hit.
Thank you. That's what I meant. That's what how the kids say it.
No, it just cuts off there. I on my phone, it's the same.
Okay. So it's not just, but you see how you get, okay. Not crazy. Yes.
No, you're not crazy. It cuts off on my phone too. Yeah. But thank you, Ronnie. Clearly an awesome review that it just was so awesome. It got cut off. I don't know why. But I think that's it, right, Caitlin?
Yeah.
That's all our housekeeping for today. So stay tuned at the end of this episode for 10 legendary moments from listeners like you. And now let's get into big days.
This episode is brought to you by our Patreon pals, especially our Almighty 5 members, Adam, Tish, Johnny, and Ben. Our Patreon family has over 70 members and counting, and our sliding scale means no matter what you pay, you can enjoy all the perks that we offer. You'll get early access to every episode we make, private live streams with us, exclusive caps of How I Met Your Father, and more. And we've got a ton of like super fun ideas for live streams coming up. So get on it. So you can join for as little as $2 a month at patreon.com/HeyBeautifulPod.
Good job.
That was really hard.
You did a really good job on that first read of our ad.
I didn't realize it was different until I started. I glanced and I went,
I did say that I rewrote it.
I know. But that was
been a long day. It's fine.
Time before, yeah.
Yeah, it's all good.
But I hope you can see it on my face as I realized the words were different and panicked.
There's no need to panic. There's no need to panic. It's all relatability when it's not perfect. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh, all right. Let's do this.
Let's get into it. So this is season 6, episode 1. It's episode 113. It is Big Days. First aired on September 20th, 2010, and was written by, of course, Carter Bays and Craig Thomas.
You guys also need to know before we continue that Caitlin blew a huge Clint level cloud of smoke right before she sat down. So just know that if you hear there's a little tripping,
just calling me out.
It's okay. I'm contextualizing it.
It's also late.
And it's late. This is later than we usually do it.
Yeah, 7:50, guys.
Who's the director on this one?
Pam Fryman. Our girl.
Yeah.
All right. So where did I put my notes? Because I started this partially in my You Better Work Britney Spears journal.
One of these days we're going to have to talk about Britney Spears' recent Instagram stuff, but today's not the day. There's too much.
It could be a Patreon video. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So anyway, so we start off with future Ted narrating to the kids. We're back in like the house, telling us that there are 2 big days in your relationship: the day you meet and then the day you marry her. And we get to see like this little white steeple. It's like a blue sky. Like this is clearly a church.
Right.
Very beautiful setting. And we see a man or a person wearing a tuxedo walking out. They've got 2 beers. And we're not sure who it is, but eventually, camera pans out and we see that it's Marshall. And he comes over and he's got 2 beers. And he also notices that Ted is nervous because he is ripping apart his beer label bottle. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, oh, what's going on? Like, are you nervous? Ted's like, nah, just hoping it doesn't rain. Why? Do I look nervous? And he's like, look at your beer. And then but we don't get any answers. Like, we're just like,
we don't know. We don't know what's going on. It seems like it's his wedding, right? Because they're talking about there's 2 big days.
Yeah.
And then there's Ted, and Marshall would be his best man, right?
Yeah.
So it seems like this is his day, right?
Right.
But we don't get anything more than that. And it's like I always say at the beginning of a season of this show, it's like we're being shot out of a cannon because nobody in this group besides the married people is anywhere close to getting married at the start of season 6. So
right. And who, like, you don't stash beers behind the pulpit unless you're in the wedding.
Well, yeah,
and he's got some sort of like intimate connection with, like you wouldn't just go do that. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to a coworker's wedding in a couple weeks. Not gonna.
Right. And he's got the boutonniere and everything. So it's like, it's very clear.
Yeah, they are
both in this wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And we assume that it's Ted's wedding because they're talking about the 2 big days. But this whole episode is a troll. They're trolling us in the best way, right?
Yeah.
The misdirection is just incredible. So
it's the best. It's part of why we love the show.
It's the best.
So we swoop back to the present day, and it is a sad day indeed, as Barney proclaims that it is, of course, the season of exposed skin is over.
R.I.P. to sundresses.
Right? Which is honestly, that's one of my saddest days of the year as well. I love a sundress.
Me too. Sundress season is great, and not for looking at girls in sundresses, but wearing them. They're the
But wearing
best.
them, the best, so comfy.
Sundress season is upon us.
I know.
It's
Chris
here.
told me that the weather's going to be so beautiful all day or all week, and I was like, oh, I'm going to wear some sundresses.
Yay! That's so exciting.
Yeah, so very exciting. So Barney is like so upset, so sad. He's got all these like super fun riddles for Ted to like guess, which if you want to, if you feel so inclined, you can head on over to Barney's blog where he's got all sorts of riddles for us that, you guys can look at and solve.
I figured there might be a blog about this one.
They're like not bad. Like, I mean, I can read them out.
Riddle us a few. Yeah.
Right.
Riddle me this.
I like the blog post. It's Summer Breeze up the summer skirt. What flowing cotton frock sends a dude's minute hand straight to minute hand? Woo, to straight to 12
minute hand.
But it's like a mega riddle because there's like certain letters that like that you pick from each answer, and then it creates like a word to answer a larger one. I don't know what that kind of puzzle is called, but
I don't know.
It's a sundress.
Sundress, of course, is the answer.
What strappy upper favors the double D cupper?
Sundress. I mean, bigger titties do look nice in a sundress. I will give that to Barney. For sure. Isn't sundress the answer to all of them?
No, it's not. They're different. What two-piece swimmer makes the testes simmer? That's bikini.
Oh,
Worn too tight. What you mean. Pelvic shield of denim can lead to premature male venom? That would be hot pants.
Hot pants. Oh, okay. So it's not just sundresses.
What tiny number cut above the knees would stop a man's heart if she ever dropped her keys? A mini skirt?
Mini skirt? Yeah.
That has to be it. So mini skirt, hot pants, bikini, sundress. What strappy upper favors the double D cupper? It was like halter?
Oh, maybe. A halter top? A bra?
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters. Oh, where's Will Shorts when you need
I know,
them?
right? God damn it, Will Shorts. I've been doing the New York Times crossword every day. It's like my new thing.
I got Jack a subscription for Christmas.
Nice. Yeah. And so now that's what I'm thinking of. But I don't know what that would be.
Well, here's the mega riddle. So you would use
the letters.
Yeah. Autumn nears and chicks bundle up to hide their boobs from bros. So in our heads is where we go to their frumpy clothes. It's 5 letters. Like somehow take off.
Oh, okay. Good job. Good job to the blog. Being gross.
No, you had to put some thought into that.
Yeah, no, that's clever. It's clever.
Yeah. So anyway, so Ted's like, dude, I got to grade these papers. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. And Barney just keeps pestering Ted and won't stop until he notices the beer label. And he's like, dude, what's going on? What are you nervous about? And so like, again, immediately we see this tell from Ted that something's up. Yeah. And so Ted tells him that like there's a super like pretty girl over by the bar, and so he's like feeling a little nervous about it. And Barney's like, "Where? I want to see a pretty girl." And he's like, looks so like, meh. And I felt like watching Ted's reaction, which I felt like was more Josh Radnor's. I felt like he was like really laughing at Neil Patrick Harris. He's just and I love this way. He's like, "No, I'm gonna be cool. I'll be cool." He's like, boom. And he like turns around and it's just like so obvious. And he's just like and
he does like the scan, like the really quick scan. He's so freaking good.
He's so good. And it reminds me of Chris. Like anytime like I'll be like smiling at him and be like, hey, don't turn around. But there's, he goes, what? And I'm like, do you see how I'm not moving my mouth? Do you hear how I'm whispering? I expect a reply in kind.
Context clues are important.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So Barney tells him that he has nothing to worry about. He doesn't even need to be nervous. And he can tell him why in just one little eensy teensy word. And so like, like what?
What could
And
it
Barney
be?
just says, "Dibs."
Problem solved.
Problem solved. So we don't need to worry
The
about it
girl's
anymore
mine.
because Barney has called dibs on him. And there was this, I was reading on like the wiki page that this was kind of like a runner and that like Ted is slow to call dibs because we saw this in Robots versus Wrestlers where they're in after they get into the elevator with Marissa Heller.
Oh,
He's just
yeah,
like,
yeah,
dibs.
yeah.
Like he's calling dibs on things nobody wants.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But
One thing from this scene, I think it's like the big thing that I haven't mentioned. Well, it's not a big thing, but I agree that if a girl is at a bar reading, do not
oh,
bother her. Don't bother
yes.
her.
Yeah, shields
That
her up.
is shields up, which after my first watch, I thought it was Robin who'd said that, but it was Ted who said
Yeah.
she shields up. So good job, Ted. You were right.
Leave her
And
alone.
yeah, leave her alone. You even see her switch from her book to her headphones. Like in the background, I could see her like putting
Oh,
headphones in. That's another thing. If a girl is in
don't.
headphones, don't ever bother her. Come on, people. Come on. Yeah. Oh my God. Stop. Fucking stop.
Fucking
So after the cut, we are still at the bar and they're debating implied dibs. And of course, Barney's about to launch into this huge history lesson about Sir Walter Dibs and the SS Dibs, which is all very funny. And I kind of wish we'd gotten that story. It
me
looked
too, but Ted's like, I
very
don't want a fake
dramatic.
history lesson. I'm like, but I do.
I do, Ted.
I do, Ted.
God.
So rude.
Yeah, and now we're getting into the Carter Bays, the Bays and Thomas thing where it's one scene, but there are two things happening at the same time. So we'll try to
I
do
just
this.
tried to keep it Barney Ted.
Yeah,
Marshall.
yeah. So do you want me to talk about the Barney Ted and do you want to talk about the Marshall
Sure.
Lily? Okay, cool. All right, so that's happening. Ted decides he wants to go talk to her. And I said, you're really trolling us here because Barney says, sure, go ahead, talk to her, fall in love with her, get married. And, we've just seen a
We've
wedding.
just seen the
Just
wedding.
seen a wedding, right? So we're thinking, oh, these are all little winks. And we're just so simple. We're such
Right.
simpletons for
'Cause,
thinking that that's what it would
he
be.
and he already says them because when I give my best man speech,
Mm-hmm.
like, is that why you're nervous, Ted? Because you remembered what Barney said he would do in this
Ha ha
situation?
ha ha. Exactly.
But I love
Exactly.
the fantasy sequence. I love everyone's reactions.
Oh my God. It's so fucking good.
Lily faints. Robin's
Lily
just like,
passing out. And then also watching actively as Barney and this
just
mystery woman start having
go at
sex on
it.
the table.
Like, we could just do it right here.
Yeah. But even she was like, you have to know that. I didn't
Yeah.
know. She did great. That was awesome.
She was so good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I loved it.
she was great.
Anyway.
But anyway, there's that bit. So yeah, he's gonna go talk to her eventually, but we'll see. But before he can, in comes the real shields up, which is Robin looking like I do most days. Like
you don't exist for the male gaze?
right. Like when I saw her, I was like, I remember seeing this for the first time being like, damn. And now I'm like,
Yes.
that's COVID chic. That's COVID. That is COVID attire.
It is. I loved the very specific pattern of the hoodie or whatever she was wearing because it looks stained, and really old, but I think it's just the pattern on the fabric.
Yeah.
It was just really well chosen.
I know. I was like, there's no stains.
Yeah, it's clean.
Her hair is fine.
Yeah. She brought her own snacks.
That are my neutral is Robin's rock fucking bottom. I was just like,
my neutral.
I get it. I understand. I understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she comes in looking like she's been through the pandemic, and we learned that it's been months since we last saw everybody, but Robin is still reeling from her breakup with Don. So she's been just in a funk basically since 2 weeks after he left, because that's the first time we see her looking like this in this flashback where Ted's just, telling her that whatever she needs. And Robin has to warn Ted that she's going to come at him with everything she has, and try to have sex with him when she's feeling bad. And He assures her that would never happen. He would never let that happen. And then they cut to her in that outfit 2 weeks after she first said that, and just, I'm ready to have sex now.
I loved all the snacks she had just piled
So
around.
many, and so many of them together in her mouth.
Just
you gotta respect
all
it.
falling out.
I will say 2 things. One, she's never been funnier than in this episode.
Totes toots.
So shields up Robin is the best.
Toots? Yeah.
Totes
toots.
toots.
Yeah, she doesn't give a fuck.
She's like, no fries for this guy.
Yes.
That one was so good. And then when she calls the girl Reedy McGee, that's like one of my favorite lines of the whole fucking show.
And like when they let Robin be funny.
Yes. We've said this all along, but it's something about her not being all dolled up where she's just full, like, zero fucks.
You and I always talk about, like, funny is like tops everything else that you could be,
Yes.
like always.
Like, be ugly to be funny. Like, being ugly is funny. So be funny. Yeah. You can't be as funny as you could be without losing the fear of being ugly.
Right, exactly.
That's what it is.
Exactly. If you're always worried about looking a little bit pretty.
Right. And I think that's what, when men are like, women aren't funny, it's like, you guys are the reason that some women don't let themselves be funny. So shut the fuck up. Anyway, the other thing was that in that flashback, we see Robin in this, like, it's like a magenta top with a red, they almost look like lapels, and then little black, like, tuxedo buttons. And I will say, this is like the first time we really see her in a menswear inspired piece. And that is a huge trend going forward. And she looks so good. So I'm glad that we've gotten to the menswear inspired stuff, because she just carries it so well. And I do also love Barney's line of, you're exquisite. Let me paint you. So
like,
you must let
Barney.
me paint you. Yeah, he's so great. All right, so what's up with Marshmallow and Lily Pad these days?
Yeah, so they're not at the bar when everyone else gets there because they are home trying to have a baby, like doing all the things that they need to. Lily's got a playlist ready to go. It's got like really sexy music for like to get them in the mood. Then it's got some like really fast-paced banjo music for when they're actually doing it. Marshall hasn't touched himself in a week. Lily's read all the books, takes her temperature every 20 seconds. And yeah, so like tonight's the night they're going to try. Like, it sounds like Lily's been doing a lot of tracking with like her cycle and all of that. But before we can even find out what happens, like we see them arrive at the bar and they're just like pissed, and it doesn't look like they just spent a night having unprotected sex, which Marshall was very excited about. So come to find out, like Marshall comes home and he is just ready to go. And Lily's just like not in the mood. She has a different outfit on from when he first called her. And she's like, a package arrived. And he's like, yeah, it did. No, Marshall, like a package from your dad is like still weird, but okay. Like
it is.
Dad. Just like, if he's just trying to go with it. And I love how he like frantically comes in. He's like, no time. Let's just like do it right here. But yeah, so no, Marshall, like, look, he mailed something. So Marshall like turns his attention and there is a beautiful like bassinet that Mr. Erickson, who's Marshall's best friend, made for him in his wood shop as like a good luck kind of like getting ready for the baby sort of thing.
Right.
And Lily's livid because like, how could you tell him that? And so now we're back at the bar and Marshall's like, well, like, he's my best friend. To which Ted and Barney are like, whoa. Like,
yeah.
With that.
You don't really get that much for Marshall. Like, it's usually Ted. Yeah. It's usually Ted saying Marshall's his best friend. So to see them both being jealous is really a nice turning on its head of the little trope there. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. So Lily's pissed and like stomps off, and Ted goes to like sort of like comfort Marshall, and he's like, no, he's like, don't even touch me. What's he say? Like, I'm a light breeze away from having a big problem.
Yeah.
And then the stupid joke of like he catches sight of Robin getting something out of her teeth and is cured.
Yeah. It's like when she was at the gym and Ted was like, gone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stupid. What was I gonna say? Oh, I was thinking that they had that fight at the apartment. And they were like, we need to go litigate this at the bar because they don't live upstairs. So they had to take a fucking cab, angry at each other, to go to the bar
to get the friends to weigh in.
to get the friends to weigh in on this and just like deal with it. And as all that's going on, Ted is trying to buy Barney's dibs, but then in comes Cindy,
Dun,
who
dun, dun.
we are reminded was the mother's roommate. And things did not end well, which we find out, which we didn't really see last season. It kind of just was done. And maybe she was a little embarrassed, but yeah, they both are still working and on campus. And so we get a quick flashback to him in the hallway with her. And this is the best Rachel Bilson is in this whole show. She's like, "Oh, hi, Cindy."
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So good.
Oh God, it's just so immature, but I love it.
It really.
Yeah, and so of course Ted immediately goes to, oh my God, Cindy had a roommate that was perfect for him in theory, right? And now she's at the bar talking to this girl. Maybe that's the roommate. And again, they're just hooking us in. Like, oh my God, this is when all the stars align. Beginning of season 6. Like, again, just totally punked.
Cindy, we already know the mother is Cindy's roommate. We all, Ted is at a wedding with Marshall. Mm-hmm. He's nervous about like there's so many things. What is happening?
And we think, and this is where we fuck up, is we think that it's going to be from this point a linear journey to seeing the mother like very soon. Just because we've been in her apartment.
Yeah.
Adorable. That we think the next like 3 episodes from
we've
then.
seen the house too.
Right. We think that we're going to see her right away. No. So and that makes me think just now of when I was in a writing workshop. I might have talked about this on here, but like some of the best advice I got was to keep a story interesting, you have to keep putting things in the way of your main character getting what they want. Because we all want Ted to just immediately we just want to see the mother, right? We're all impatient for it. But the show kind of ends when that happens, right? So he was saying that the author was saying that you could make a story about someone just wanting a glass of milk so interesting, and people would read it for like 100 pages if they just kept almost getting that milk and then not getting that milk for like whatever reasons it was. So the mother is milk in this show. Mm-hmm. And so even when you think there's no possible way it could be put off any longer, it's going to get put off a little longer.
It gets put off. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where we're at. Ted is just like, he thinks it might be her. We think it might be her.
He's got to see those ankles.
Yeah, and he's got to see them ankles.
Which are inconvenient. Can we just talk about the footwear? The peep toe?
The peep toe boot?
Booty?
What is the point? What is the point of any of that? I can't imagine that would look good standing up. Like, it's not bad sitting, but just imagine all that weight at the bottom of the leg with a mini skirt.
I mean, I definitely wore Uggs and mini skirts, so...
But it's like slouchy. It's like slouchy. There's a heel. There's too much.
It's so much.
There's so much.
Like a plaid skirt, and then it was like a layered hot pink and white top. There's just a lot. She was adorable, though.
Yes, this girl can't be a lesbian wearing something like that. I'll just say that. Those shoes are way too unfunctional. We love a sensible shoe, and that is not sensible in any direction.
Maybe she was like not very far into her coming out journey.
Yeah, just working it out. She's like,
She's like a boot, right?
Yeah.
Boots are gay, right?
A boot, but like make it femme. Yeah. God.
Yeah. So anyway, so back in the corner of McLaren's, Marshall and Lily are having like, this like legitimate discussion about what is too much information to share with your coworkers, your family. Like, where's like the line for what is too much? And also as we see at the end of the episode, like relative strangers, like what should you really be telling people about like such an
Right.
intimate pieces of your life? So
Yeah.
Lily asks him if he told people at work, and he's like, oh, couple people, and we see him getting ready to leave, and he has a secretary like blast like this like rock music that's just like amped up, and we have like I couldn't think of what's the name for it when it's like a dance tunnel or like what is
It's
that?
like a tunnel. Yeah, I would call it like
Whatever,
a
just like
gauntlet, but not like, but it's like a good gauntlet. So
yeah, I couldn't think of like what I wanted to call it, but like people are just like shouting things at him, like
that's what that is. That's an ass first ride down the dance floor Spank Canyon, is what he went through, right? That was a high five canyon right there.
Wow.
Callbacks.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thank you so much.
So yeah, so it's like people are shouting things at him, just kind of like boosting his ego. And I love he does like the elevator kick.
Yes.
But yeah, I would say like telling people that you're just starting the journey of like trying to have a baby, like probably I could understand how some people might think that's too many people to share.
Yeah, especially how difficult it is to actually make a baby the first time, to blow your load, so to speak, on that first one, on the first attempt is
Not.
it's naive. It's naive. It's clear that, like you said, Lily's been reading the books and he's just been not touching himself to prepare for this.
Good for you. Good for you.
Good for you.
And so, Marshall apologizes for telling like his coworkers, but he won't apologize for telling his dad because it's his dad. But you can see from Lily's perspective how he's just a little too involved. He knows all the intimate details, like the fact that she still hasn't changed her last name. He knows what, he contacted the DMV and like her American Express, like to get that process started.
For the name change.
He knows, the name change. Like he knows that they're fighting. He tells Lily what works for him and the missus. What is it? Frilly French undies and a box of wine. Like
box of wine.
Too pure. And then he calls and says like a pickle. Tells her to add a pickle to the sandwich, which by the way looked incredible, and I'm sure the pickle really would have helped. But from Marshall's perspective, who like he walks on the street. Have you ever seen you walk down the street?
Right. This is
a
continuation of that.
It's really a continuation of that, just like of his Midwestern roots and his just like being such a good guy and like good natured and people just loving him, and Lily being a New Yorker and like no, it's very, very different.
Yeah.
So. But there's only kind of one way to undo this, and that would be to tell Marshall's family that they're not actually going to try to have a baby, which is just absurd. And Marshall's just kind of like, what? Like, no. Are you freaking crazy? You wanted me to give my dad a stroke? And Lily then pulls out her ultimate weapon, them titties. And gives a little like cleavage shot to Marshall, who just immediately loses it. Loses it. And he starts screaming that everyone just needs to calm down. He can't think in these conditions. And just kind of like storms out like
a few things here. First of all, in the office, when somebody says to put a pillow under her lower back thing, that sounds like his dad. And then like later in the episode, his dad asks about putting a pillow under her back. Yeah, like in the book. So I mean, it probably wasn't him, like, but it sounded like him. So I don't know if they just used him twice, like used him as like an uncredited voice there or what.
Maybe.
But it sounded like the actor.
And it's such like a specific line that he then later repeats.
Right, exactly. And like I said in the season 5 recap, we haven't really, last season was very light on Marshall and Lily. We didn't get a lot of progression for them character-wise. And now right away, we're seeing like it's like a new door is opening into their marriage. Like we haven't seen a lot happening in that apartment at all. And now we're finding out that they talk to his dad every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we heard nothing about his dad last season at all. I don't remember the last time we even saw the Ericksons. It's been a long time. So
Mm-hmm.
we're finally getting more Marshall and Lily, and we're finding out that Marshall has this deep relationship with his dad. I mean, of course he does, right? And we're sure that it's been there the whole time, but it's great to see more of that, as much as it, despite it annoying Lily so much that happens. So that's really great. And the other thing was, the piece about the piece that really pisses Lily off is when he talks about his dad coming to live with them for
I
3
realized, like,
months.
because it cuts back, and I was like,
I
"Oh, I didn't
know, I
finish the whole
know, I
thing."
know.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so
I would just
this is
lose it.
I
I
know.
would lose it.
It's so funny, and her reaction is like, "Oh my god, my husband is like, he's crazy. He thought we
So what, my
talked about
dad's just
this."
supposed to go and tell his boss, "Hey, I had a grandson.
Yeah, right, not a
I'm taking off for
child.
3 months?" I
3
would lose my
months.
mind. I would lose my mind.
He's like, "We talked about this." "No, we didn't. I meant me and my dad." Like, she's just completely he's so excited that he's just, like, full steam ahead,
Like,
and that's
no,
where we
like,
get
you're not even a part of this discussion. Yeah,
right.
like, just have a baby
And
with your dad.
and then, "Why don't you have a baby with your butt?" And when Marshall's, like, screaming in her face, you can see Allison breaking at the very end. That must have I think this episode was hard for everybody to not break, because I remember it being in a lot of the bloopers on the
Mm.
season 6 blooper reel. Because I mean, I'm sure Carter and Craig just make the set so fun and have all these, and them together with Pam, they probably punch it up in all these fun ways and just let the cast do whatever they want, like, sort of
Mhm.
really go crazy, balls to the wall for takes. So yeah, the have a baby with your butt thing was a big one for the blooper reel. I remember the stiff breeze or the light breeze
Mhm.
was one too.
Mhm.
So there's all that. In the middle of all this, we have Barney bullying Robin about being ugly,
Mhm.
basically. And I will say, Barney seems like he's being pretty mean, but it's Robin. And he knows Robin, and he knows that Ted will just let her wallow for as long as she wants, but Barney can see that that is not good for her. Maybe it's good for
Right.
Ted, maybe it's good for someone else, but he knows that she needs the kick in the ass that he would need to start.
Mhm.
And I say taking care of herself again, because for her self-care is clearly not not looking
It
like
looks
she's
different than this.
yes, it looks different than this. And so basically he's doing a challenge accepted to her, right?
Mhm.
He's saying,
'Cause
"You don't have
they know
it."
each other so well.
Yeah, he's like, "You won't do it," basically.
Mhm.
And we think she storms off offended, right? But we will learn differently very shortly. But then as Marshall storms out in a rage,
Creates a big
in a in a sperm-filled rage. Sorry.
men.
Cindy catches eyes with Ted. So now Ted knows that Cindy knows. They both know that each other is there. And I just have to say, Rachel Bilson, why don't you know what to do with your body? Did you notice she's like leaning on the bar, and then
And
she
then she's
sees
like
him, and then she like puts her little arms down? Yeah.
'cause she's just like a little lollipop.
Yeah, she is like a sweet little lollipop. And
Just
I
a
think
head.
it was just like a weird framing, I think, for that, but she just looks very awkward in that moment. So it's a weird little moment there.
It is. Okay, so Cindy makes her way over to Ted and asks to talk to him in private. And Ted is pretty nervous, but he still like goes off to join her. And then Lily goes over to the bar to join Barney and asks what his opinion is. Marshall talk to his dad way too much, And Barney, like, I love Barney and Lily together in that way. And when they just kind of like get really honest with one another, because I feel like when they're at this level, they really listen to one another. And Barney's like, no, he's like, if I had my dad's number, like, I would call him every day. Like, there's no way I wouldn't do that.
Which is a huge revelation, right? Like,
Barney?
Has he ever talked about his dad besides Bob Barker?
Not being Bob Barker, right? Like, he's admitting, you know, like, because it's so crazy. And like Lily's like, oh my God, like, but she can't even finish the sentiment because Marshall, Barney's head whips around and he's like, hottie with a body just walked in and making all these like gross comments. And he's like, no, Lily, look. And we turn over, the camera turns and we see it's Robin and she's sundressed up. And in just 14 seconds, she got that cheesy guy to approach her. That was talking to Cindy and the girl that Ted had called dibs on, apparently. But now that I love this. Now he's proven the point. She can just scram. And Robin comes over to sit with the boys, and Barney tells her she looks super hot. And she's like, "Oh, do I?" And she like, takes the compliment. And then this is like probably the best part. She opens up her purse and takes out a fucking Cheeto just to show that it's still her. You know what I mean? Like, she could turn it on when she wants to.
And she's still going through it. This isn't, she isn't fixed, right? There's still a lot to process.
Right. It's an emotional support Cheeto in her purse.
It won't be the last Cheeto. So there's that. I will say one of my again, another favorite moment from the show is Robin being like, still got it. Spanking herself and just being like, nice belt, by the way.
And the guy kind of looks down. He's just like, fuck yeah, Robin.
Good.
So good.
So then Cindy hugs Ted and apologizes, which he did not see coming. And it turns out dating him and then breaking up was a real come to Jesus moment. We will see more of that later on, as most of you know. She really wants to make it up to him and doesn't know how. And Ted is, himself, where he's just like, set me up with one of your friends, blah, blah, blah. Because he's really he's now
like
convinced
with that.
Yeah, he's now convinced that this girl at the bar is the roommate who is his soulmate, right? And
which, I mean,
it's possible. It's possible, right?
We know that at least.
Yeah. So he gets really excited because she's like, come say goodbye before you leave, which he takes as, I'll introduce you to this girl. And because of this, we get the birth of the High Six, which will never be heard from again. But we saw it happen.
But she didn't, so that's all that matters.
That's true.
So bad.
This is my favorite part. Go ahead.
You want to talk about it?
No, I'm just excited to talk about it. It's just so sweet. Go ahead.
So Lily runs after Marshall, which you already pointed out is not right upstairs. Like, she had to like travel a distance to somehow catch right up with him as he's, approaches the apartment.
Yeah.
And she like tells him to wait up, and he's bitter, and I get it because like she's just shitting all over basically him and his family,
Yeah.
And his phone starts to ring, and it's his dad, and he's going to answer it because it's my dad, Lily. I'm going to answer the phone. If my dad calls, I'm going to answer it. And so Marshall answers the phone, and Marvin Erickson's just like, too pure for this world. He's like, I know it's late, but how'd it go? Because he's just so excited, so pure, so genuine. He's like, did you do what the book said? Did you put a pillow under her back? Did it feel like a boy? You can tell. And then Marshall hangs up and realizes that, like, yeah, he's fucking crazy. But that she realizes too that like she's scared of letting Marshall down because what if she can't have a baby? And those qualities that are in his dad about just like his pure joy and exuberance like are why she loves him too, And but yeah, she's just like really scared that she is going to let him down because what if something's wrong with her? Did you ever think of that?
Right.
And Marshall has just been so excited this whole time about the possibility of not even the possibility, just like the reality of having a child because like he's an Erickson, of course.
Yeah.
They're going to have babies. And he hasn't really considered that, but he hasn't considered it because as he tells Lily, like, there's just no way that you could ever let me down. It's absolutely impossible. And it's just like,
this is the writing that we come to How I Met Your Mother for, because there's like two moments here that I'm just like, ugh. And it reminds me of when, as we're talking about it and like talking about, oh, my dad's insane. It reminds me of when Lily jumped between him and Chloe, and he's like, "You're just insane. You're out of your mind." You know, that's what it's reminding me of, because like they're outside and they're talking about like
yeah.
it's a good crazy, right?
That's what Chris always tells me. Loves me
No.
crazy.
And so like the first bit here where he's just like, he's so enthusiastic. Who's like that? And she just says, you're like that. And it's like, oh my God. And then
I know.
one of the, like, the line where he's telling Lily, like comforting Lily, just the way he delivers it is just so beautiful. And, you know, when she says, like, have you even thought about that? Not even for 1 second. Not having a
Like,
baby would suck, but the idea of you letting me down, that's impossible. It's just like so
and it just like quick with it. Like
real.
it was didn't have to think about it. It was just an immediate gut reaction of like not even possible. And I think about like times in my relationship with Chris where like I've had some sort of fear about something and he's just like, no, dude, like no.
Just so certain. That
Yeah.
certainty.
Yeah. And I just love how Marshall and Lily see that, you know, in each other. You know what I mean? Like how it
Mhm.
just, like you said, it feels so real. I love the
Yeah.
writing of it and just the way it plays
And
out too between the two of them. You
it's
know,
so
you
sweet
feel it. Allison Hannigan with the emotion.
all the time. And I mean, Jason here too is
Mhm.
incredible. You know, it's just
Yeah.
like the easiest thing in the world to love you is what
To
it
love
feels like.
Lily. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
And I will
it's
say, Marshall's dad, when my dad calls, I answer. Just put a pin in that one.
Don't what? Yeah.
I'm just saying, put a pin
I
in
know.
it.
Just put a pin. Yeah. Sorry
Not
to
gonna
say
say
anything.
anything more than that. So then Ted heads over. Oh, I was gonna say about Lily's anxiety. Like the whole time, it isn't about Marshall's family butting in. It's that she just doesn't.
You're right.
She's terrified to disappoint them. So, and that's, I mean, we all know anxiety manifests as one thing when it's really something else. And so
Yep.
it's that getting past that initial feeling and just having the bravery to actually say what's really worrying you, that'll take the power
Mhm.
out of it. So I'm glad that she got there. And then Ted, back at the bar, heads over to Cindy and her friend. And future Ted is telling us this, you know, about the sweet, terrifying exhilaration of making your first move. They're
Mhm.
still just reeling us in. We think this is the big moment where he's going to finally meet the mother, right? And you know, we've seen her the whole episode we've seen him nervous and fixated on this girl. We've seen him at a wedding. Like it's all been leading to
We're such
this
fools.
moment, but it turns out it's all been leading to Cindy's moment.
Mhm.
She is the main character of this story. It's like in The Window, you know, where he wasn't the main character there
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
love story either. And she kisses the girl, and it's
She does it.
clear she does it. By golly, she goes for it. It's clear we've been punked again by Carter and Craig. Thank you so much. We get Barney with the camera
Like,
and
yeah.
Robin just
Like,
amazed. And yeah. And I love this little piece of that girl wasn't your mother. She was someone else's mother. They both were. And it fast forwards to the two of them with their
with the
daughter
daughter.
getting their picture taken. And it's so sweet.
Mhm. They just look like a beautiful fake family.
I
I
know,
bought
they're
it.
such a beautiful fake family.
Yeah.
Really, really
Love it.
sweet, and it's very touching, especially at this point in the world of politics right now, where it's like kids with 2 moms can't even, like, talk about it at school in, like, Florida and other places, like, they can't even, like, talk about their own families, and, like, we're supposed to believe that, you know, Cindy and her fake wife and fake daughter are this, like, obscenity, right? And just seeing, like, how sweet they were, it
Mhm.
just
Just
fucking got me. while I was watching that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not the girl he's going to marry, and it's not one of those big days for him, but we haven't been completely punked because we learned that very first scene at the wedding is the day we've been working toward this whole time. Because that is the day he's going to meet the mother. So we now know the day he's going to meet the mother. It's going to be at a wedding. It's not. We have been waiting for that. We had no idea
When at
when or
all in this
what.
timeline.
Like we knew it was going to be a wedding, but we didn't know what wedding or when.
Yeah.
Right? We knew it was going to be a wedding because when we thought it was Victoria, it was like I met your mother at a wedding. I think that was a piece of it.
Did we? Okay.
Maybe.
I
feel like
I
we
try
already
to
knew that.
pretend. I try to pretend, but like I can't remember what's a spoiler and what's
I
not,
know,
especially
I
at this
know.
point.
I know.
Like,
But I think we're doing our best. And I do think that we
Yeah.
already kind of knew that it was at a wedding that they
okay,
met.
so it's fine. Yeah.
Anyway, so we know the when, we know the where. But what we don't understand, what we don't know yet is who the F is getting married at this wedding. So we get a little answer to a question and then we get like 15 more questions, which is a wonderful thing for a season opener, right?
Yeah.
It's not his wedding. It's not Marshall's wedding.
Right.
But Ted is the best man. So process of elimination is, I guess it could be his sister, right?
Yeah.
It could be, but Marshall's in the wedding.
That makes it a little weird.
Right. So that's a little weird.
Who could it
And
be?
he's the best man. It's Barney, Robin, or some other third person. Right?
Has to be.
Has to be. I wonder which of those it will be. I guess we'll find out. And then cue the rain. Looks like the yellow umbrella has not seen its last
Yeah. I love like, did you bring an umbrella?
last
No.
moment. Yeah. So here we go. Here we go. We're in the second half. We're in the final half of this show.
Oh, that's so weird.
We are on a rocket now toward the end, and
Zooming.
so much shit is about to happen. That's so exciting.
I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Crazy girl.
Crazy.
So at the very end of our episode, we get a little scene of Marshall sitting out on the stoop talking about his fertility journey with Lily and how, they read about how, like the statistics are, but they never thought they would, be the couple that had some trouble. But, thanks for listening, and you won't say anything to Lily. And like the camera pans out and it's like literally like the neighborhood. People just walking by on the sidewalk who just like know Marshall for whatever reason or whatever way, whatever capacity. And Marshall's fucking holding court on the sidewalk of New York City, telling people about some of his most intimate things with his wife after they've already talked about how he's told too many people.
He can't be, and he just can't help it.
He can't.
He can't. He's too damn enthusiastic.
That golden retriever energy.
So what did you think overall of Big Days?
So good. I love Carter and Craig episodes. They're always so fun. And this one just like helps you like refocus on what the point of the show is, where we're going, gives us so many little like nuggets of information to look forward to. So yeah, pretty exciting. How about you?
Yeah, same. And if you've seen season 6, you know how much this episode is setting up.
I know. Watching it was just like, oh.
Yeah. And you didn't, and if you, on my first watch through, I didn't notice, right? It didn't feel, and we'll talk about it more as we get further into it. I'm specifically talking about one huge storyline, but it didn't seem out of place or weird or
forced, or like, why is that? Why are they talking about that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a natural piece.
Yes, there's a very natural piece. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the season. It's a huge season. It's a season of growing up in a lot of different ways, right? It's about marriage and family, extended family, dealing with hard shit. Barney cares about his dad. Like, what's going to happen with that? Like, there's.
If I had my dad's number, I'd call him every day.
Yeah, I'd never not be on the
I'd
phone.
never
with
not
him.
be on the phone with them. Like, what?
God, so freaking sweet. So there's clearly going to be sort of a broadening of things, like learning more about new characters, maybe, or having more time with characters that already exist, like in their extended family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a great season. I'm
It is
excited.
going to be a great one.
Ooh, you ready to get into these legendary moments?
I am, yes. Remember,
Awesome.
legendary moments are your favorite piece of the episode. It could be anything you want. It could be your favorite moment, a feeling, a song, a scene,
An
quote,
outfit.
an outfit, a hairstyle, anything you want. And if you are a patron, you will get yours read in its entirety. And some of you have enjoyed taking us to task with that.
So true.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Our first one comes from Kalpesh, and Kalpesh writes, "Hey, beautiful. Congrats on starting season 6. I love you two so much." Oh, thank you. I'm so excited. I'm excited as hell for this season. This season made me a die-hard HIMYM fan. Okay, where was I? Yeah, my biggest problem with the season 5 finale was that it did not provide further hints about the mother. But Big Days starts with the big day. No spoilers. Moving ahead, my Legmo is Robin. This episode belongs to her. Best wishes for the new season. And yeah, I have joined Team Beautiful on Patreon. Finally, my credit card worked. Love you both, Kalpesh. Thank you, Kalpesh.
Thank you.
And welcome.
Yes, welcome. Double thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is Chris C. And Chris says, I'm excited to hear this episode from you guys. It's not one that I like, but you guys have given me a good new perspective on episodes that I haven't cared for in the past that have helped me to appreciate them more. So I am excited to hear what you say about this one. My legendary moment is Kobe. Another one for for Rebecca. I am having a stroke. Robin is her name. My legendary moment is for Kobe. She showed great comedic chops and timing throughout the whole episode, but especially when Robin was a mess. Great job by her and you guys. Oh, thank you so much, Chris. Jesus Christ.
And I just kept thinking of, what's his name?
Kobe.
The Kobe lobster.
Kobe beef? John Cho.
Yeah.
It's lobster fed with Kobe beef. Wow, that's a fucking deep cut.
All right.
It's late.
It is late. Next up is Carlin. Carlin writes in, "Hi, K and K. Happy start of season 6. It's so hard for me to choose my favorite moment or line of the episode. Ugly breakup Robin, Marshall's exit from work, any scene with Marshall's dad. So I'm going to give it up to the overall story shift from initially focusing Ted's love life to him no longer being the main character in the show. He continues to step back and let his friends' lives highlight his pathway to meeting the mother. She's coming as fast as she can, and we are getting very clear descriptions to how it happens. And I am so excited. Big days are coming ahead for your podcast too, and I can't wait for all the goodness to come." Oh, thank you, Carlin.
Thank you, Carlin. What a great letter.
Great letter. Yeah.
All right. Next up is Martin. I still can't believe I called Robin Rebecca. Where the fuck did that come from? It was Rachel, and then I corrected to Rebecca. What the fuck is wrong with me? Jesus. Oh, God. All right. Save me. Okay. Next up is Martin. My legendary moment is when Marshall is high-fived and cheered out of his office by his coworkers. The premise is absurd, but the delivery of it is great and not out of character.
It is so
absurd. Good call, Martin. The delivery of it is great and not out of character from Marshall, who just loves to overshare. Thank you, Martin. That's such a good point. And it's so true, because this was definitely like a treacle cutter, as I've heard them call it, where it's a really serious issue, like what to share when about when you're trying to conceive. Because like Liz and I have had this talk, right? Because she wants to tell her parents everything, but in the beginning, I was saying more than she wanted, and I was like telling my mom and my sister, my dad's fucking dead. Anyway,
sorry, too soon.
No, it's been a lot of years. It's fine. Okay, your dad's dead. Sorry if that triggered people.
Over that already?
God, move on. So I've been telling my mom and the ghost of my father way too many details about this.
Hey, Dad.
Guess Guess what? No, it's IUI. I'll explain it to you later. Anyway, oh my God, we're going off the rails. Okay, so anyway, as I was saying, it's a serious issue. So to do it with this and like all the fanfare, making it absurd is like a great premise for it. So thank you, Martin. Appreciate ya. Caitlin's so mean, guys.
No, remember the fork?
I want to fuck. This is all payback for the fork. Yeah, just the loop. Oh, fuck.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
Right,
Next up is Abner. Abner writes, my Legmo undoubtedly goes to the countless number of foreshadowing moments in this episode and the way tiny details in this episode come back later and shape some of the biggest moments in the series. Yes, it's so full of like what's to come. It's wild. And if you haven't seen the whole series through, like, just get ready.
Yeah. It's a big one. They set a lot of shit in motion here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up is Jeff. And Jeff says, hello, K and K. I hope you're both well. My Legmo for this episode is probably Barney's picture perfect Barney reaction when the two women kiss. In real life, it would be uncalled for, but it fits Barney to a T. Agreed. And the sound effect is great too. Honorable mention to the playing with perception that is a hallmark of this show. Best, Jeff. Yeah. All those misdirections were great.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Tim writes in, I can't wait to hear you ladies recap this. 14 seconds. 14 seconds and already some ding-dong is stepping up thinking he can get some of this broke off hoe. I still got it. All right, buddy, you proved my point. Now scram. Nice belt, by the way.
Nice belt, by the way. So dismissive.
And he just like crumbles. I love it.
Some of this broke off. Oh, she's so fucking funny. Still got it. It's one of the best GIFs too, but it's hard to find for some reason. Thank you, Tim. Next up is David R. And David said, hey, K and K, haven't had a chance to send a Legmo in a while because, life, we get it. Either way, I am ready for season 6. I've started taking notes while I am watching the episode so I can pick out my Legmo. And then by the end of the episode, I have a lot written down. Same. For this episode, I have 2. The first is the intro to the A Little Ways Down the Road. Having watched this show while it was on the air, my friends and I had a lot of theories. Obviously, without saying or giving away too much, this runner is a lot of fun. Yeah, this is not, and thank you for saying that, this is not the last time we will see this scene outside of the church. We're going to see it multiple different times with like little new bits sprinkled in.
It's pretty, you'll remember it too. Like you'll see it again and again.
Yeah. Which people are really mad about season 9, but clearly it was. Never mind. I'm just gonna say it. It's late in the episode. If you haven't seen the series, just log off. But everyone's mad about how the season 9 is all about the big day, right? But guess what? They've been teasing that since season 6. It is the most important day.
It's not even a spoiler. Honestly, it's not even a spoiler.
It's the most important day, and that's all we're gonna say.
Yeah.
Anyway, the second. I know.
Okay. Sorry.
The second is the whole scene of Ted talking with Barney about the girl at the bar. NPH's physical comedy is great because when he says, but I want to see a pretty girl, and there's just in complete obvious fashion turns around in the booth to look at her, gets me every time. Same. I also enjoy how Barney and Ted switch scripts right before with the just be cool for once. Be cool. Can you just once be cool? I don't know the exact number, but I do know Barney says it to Ted many times in the series, and it's fun to see Ted say it for once. Stay great, David R. Good call, David. Thank you.
All right, next up is Tish. Tish writes, hey, K and K. I can't believe we're here in the start of season 6. I've said it numerous times, and I'll say it again. Season 6 is a comfort season for me, for sure. I mean, it has all laughs, highs, lows, and even a bit of sadness. I'm looking at you, bad news. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This such a good episode to start season 6, and it does a lot to move the back half of the series. There were so many good moments, including the return of my girl Rachel Bilson, aka Summer Roberts. But my Legmo goes to the banner that's hanging when Marshall leaves work. It's just a perfect way to kick off this season. Anyway, here's to another season. Regards, Tish.
Thanks, Tish. Do we think Marshall had that banner made at the charts department?
Had to.
Yeah.
Had to.
Yeah.
Also, I'm okay. here in Tish's Legmo is Rachel. And then who's the next one from? It's Rebecca. Maybe
Rebecca.
that's where you got all those wrong names from.
Well, it was also like Rachel's Cookies and Treats was a big thing.
Oh, that's
yeah, and
right.
Rachel Bilson. So I still have thanks to Rachel's Cookies and Treats down here in our script. So that's
Still think cute.
it was just the fart of all farts right there for my brain.
It was so good to
Anyway, last but not least is Rebecca. That is her name. My legendary moment for big days is at the end of the episode where Marshall asks Ted if he has an umbrella, and Ted says he doesn't have an umbrella. Added to the fact in previous episodes that we know the mother has the umbrella, and Ted says he met the mother at a wedding, could be one step closer to meeting the mother, which excites me. Other moments I enjoyed include Robin proving her hotness by coming into the bar in a sundress and only taking 14 seconds for some guy to hit on her, and Barney saying if he had his father's number, he would ring him all the time, which was sweet. This isn't my favorite season premiere, but it sets up a lot of the things for the season, which is always good. Rebecca from the UK. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca.
All right, Caitlin, what is your legendary moment from Big Days?
I jumped around a lot in my head about what it was. I loved so many different pieces of it. I loved silly things with Marshall losing his mind. I loved Robin finding her power. But I think to me that says I just have to give it to, even though Rebecca said she didn't like this as a season opener. I think it was it's setting a lot of things in motion for the was it Tish said, I think, for the back half of the series.
Yeah.
It's made me excited to rewatch this episode knowing what season 6, 7, 8, and 9 are going to be like, and just all of that. So that's what but I also love Robin.
Robin is great. I know. The I still got it is a runner up for me, I would say. It was a really balanced episode, right? Everybody had a great story and everyone was firing on all cylinders.
Marshall and Lily,
you kind of the Ted thing's kind of is the A plot, but everything kind of feels really central, so it's awesome.
Yeah.
For me, it's the final bit with Marshall and Lily on the steps, and just those really sweet lines between them. I just live for the Marshall and Lily stuff. So
yeah, me too. It's so great.
Yeah, that's that. That's my legendary moment.
And that's episode 1 of season 6.
Hey, we did it!
Yay.
The sun came down as we did it, as it always will.
So late.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, everybody. We will see you next time for Cleaning House. Make sure to send us your legendary moment to heybeautifulpodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to put the title of the episode in the subject line so that way we can find it. If you loved this recap, be sure to leave us an Apple Podcast review. They just fill our bucket up, and we love reading what you guys have to say about what we're doing. So thank you. Please leave them. It also helps our podcast to grow and more HB fans to find each other. And be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Stitcher so you never miss a recap.
Oh, fuck. All right, go ahead.
We hope you'll come back next episode.
Because it's going to be legend. Wait for it.
This has been Hey Beautiful with your hosts, Kate Corton and Caitlin Turner. Our intro-outro music is by Owl Off.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.